Final deception number 17. This will be the last one I do on the Christian deception. For a while I will be not doing videos. I will be doing this series in Afrikaans for the South Africans where I'm from. I will do some other videos from time to time. I hope you find this worthwhile watching these videos. So the final one is the Christian or the church making believe that the New Testament was written in Greek, not in Aramaic, which is another lie. They tell this lie to try and secure the belief that the New Testament was written for the Christians and not for the Jews or the Hebrews. This coming from a people who do not keep the commandments of Yahuwah, even though Scripture is clear that we must follow the example of our Messiah. And we know Yahusha kept Torah. They done away with his sacred name. They done away with the covenant. They're doing away with the Sabbath, the scriptural feast, circumcision, eating of kosher foods. Then they replaced it with pagan church traditions and laws. And they come and tell us that the New Testament is not meant for Yahuwah's own people, Yisrael. Well, it is not the New Testament. It is called the Renewed Covenant, as I have discussed in my videos. So we will be looking at Scripture, excuse me, and prove that the word of Yahuwah is for Yahuwah's people, Yisrael, and not for pagans. They missed the point that all Scripture applies. So we cannot do away with the Tanakh or the Old Testament and replace it with a New Testament or the Renewed Covenant. Yahuwah says, all Scripture is breathed out by Elohim and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for setting straight, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of Elohim might be fitted, equipped for every good work. His word is there to prepare us and to get us ready for his task that he has set for us. The truth is that the inspired word was written in Hebrew for Hebrews. From the first covenant or Old Testament to the renewed covenant or the New Testament, which was written then in Aramaic, a dialect of the Hebrew. So all the word of Yahuwah was written in Hebrew and in Aramaic. The translation to Greek caused problems in the understanding of Scripture because of translation errors, which we have looked at, which makes it then not scriptural. So we're going to start off with, and starting from early in the Scriptures, and I'm going to use verses throughout Scripture to prove that Yahuwah is the Elohim of the Hebrews, and that will be the first one, Exodus 5 verse 3. And they said, the Elohim of the Hebrews has met with us. Abraham, the father of all nations, was a Hebrew. We read that in Genesis 14:13. And one who had escaped came and informed Abraham, the Hebrew, for he dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, and the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and brother of Aner, they had a covenant with Abraham. So there we have, Abraham was a Hebrew, the father of all nations. In the time of the exile of the house of Yehudah to Babylon, the language of Hebrew became complicated, and they adopted and developed the language of the Aramean to speak Aramaic. And we read this in Isaiah 36 verse 11. And Eliakim, Shebna, and Joah said to the Rabshakeh, please speak to your servants in Aramaic, for we understand it, and do not speak to us in the language of Yehudah, in the hearing of the people who are on the wall. Then let us go to the renewed covenant. Something that is very important to point out is that our Messiah was a Hebrew, or is a Hebrew. He was the king, or is the king of the Yahudim, Matthew 27:37. And they put up over his head the written charge against him, this is Yahusha, the sovereign of the Yahudim. Yahusha only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel, Matthew 15:24. And he answering said, I was not sent except to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yahusha spoke to Shaul from the heavens in Hebrew, not in Aramaic, in Hebrew. And when Acts 26:14, and when we had fallen to the ground, I heard a voice speaking to me, saying in the Hebrew language, Shaul, Shaul, why do you persecute me? It is hard for you to kick against the prods. Shaul, or Paul, who wrote most of the renewed covenant, was a Hebrew and spoke Hebrew, Acts 22:2. And when they heard that he spoke to them in the Hebrew language, they kept greater silence. Acts 22:3. Paul, or Shaul, acknowledging that I am indeed a Yehudite, having been born in Tarsus. The disciples all were from the 12 tribes of Israel. Acts 26:7, to which our 12 tribes, earnestly serving Elohim night and day, expect to attain. Concerning this expectation, O sovereign Agrippa, I am accused by the Yahudim. The gospel was written for the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Acts 10:36, he sent the word to the children of Israel, bringing the good news, peace through Yahushua Messiah, he is master of all. James 1:1, a servant of Elohim and master Yahushua Messiah, to the 12 tribes who are in dispersion. Greetings. Salvation comes from the Yahudim, the Hebrew. John 4:22, you worship what you do not know, we worship what we know, because the deliverance is of the Yahudim. Now, keeping the verses in mind that I've read to you to now, look at the following. Revelation 21:12. And having a great high wall, having 12 gates, and at the gates 12 messengers, and names written on them, which are of those of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. There are no gates for Christians, for pagans, for atheists, or any other faith. Now, keeping in mind what we've just said, the word Hebrew means to cross over. Now listen to the following words. We read from 2 Corinthians 6:14. Do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers, for what partnership has righteousness and lawlessness, and what fellowship has light with darkness, and what agreement has Messiah with the devil? Or what part does a believer have with an unbeliever? And what union has the dwelling place of Elohim with idols? For you are a dwelling place of Elohim, as Elohim has said, I shall dwell in them and walk among them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Therefore, come out from among them and be separate, says Yahuwah, and do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you. I shall be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says Yahuwah the Almighty. Yahuwah is so clear here. You cannot follow pagan ways or anything that is not of Yahuwah and expect to receive him, because he will not dwell with darkness. Therefore you cannot not keep Torah and expect Yahuwah to live in you. Yisrael means to overcome with Elohim. Who is Israel? The following does not apply to the pagans or unbelievers, only to the children of Israel. Romans 9, 4 and 5. Listen carefully. Who are the children of Israel? To whom is the adoption, and the esteem, and the covenants, and the giving of the Torah, and the worship, and the promises? Whose are the fathers, and from whom is the Messiah, according to the flesh? Who is over all, Elohim blessed forever. Only the children of Israel will receive the adoption, the esteem, the covenants, the Torah, the worship, and the promises. Not for anybody else. Israel are the descendants of Jacob, the seed of Abraham. 2 Corinthians 11, 22 and 23. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they of Israel? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they the servants of Messiah? Israel are the servants of Yahushua Messiah. And he said what? To keep the Christian faith, or the laws, or in traditions of the church? Absolutely not. What did he say? John 15:10. If you guard my commands, you shall stay in my love, as I have guarded my Father's commands and stayed in his love. These words I have spoken to you, so that my joy might be in you, and your joy might be complete. Yahuwah's joy are for those who keep his commandments. So, understanding Yahuwah is only given to one nation, his people Israel. Listen to Yahuwah's words in Psalm 147, 19 and 20, declaring his word to Jacob, his laws and right rulings to Israel. He has not done so with any nation, and they have not known his right rulings. Praise Yah. Other nations don't know Yahuwah's right rulings, because he's only given the understanding of his laws and his Torah to one nation, the people of Israel. So the conclusion is, don't let you be dictated by people who do not even keep the Torah, who does not teach scriptural truths to what is the word of Yahuwah. The word of Yahuwah was not written to the Greeks. Why would it be written, or the inspired word be in Greek, if it's not for the Greeks? These are people who do not know Yahuwah. In Yahuwah's own words, 1 John 2, verse 3 and 4. And by this we know that we know him, if we guard his commands. The one who says, I know him, and does not guard his commands, is a liar, and the truth is not in him. So the conclusion of the entire matter is, fear Elohim and guard his commands, for this applies to all mankind. Hallelujah.